Right, so hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's gonna be a bit of a different one. It's not gonna be a POV, it's not gonna be me out and about. It's gonna be more this, a bit of a talk. Now, if you follow me on social media, you know that on my Instagram, for example, I was a massive nighttime photographer, getting those bokeh bangers for Instagram. A few will be on the screen. I'm sure if you follow me, you know what I'm talking about. And even in these videos, you'll see a lot of the photos that I take, say for example my 105, my 35 1.8, with anything, I always shoot on the lowest aperture. The widest my lens can go, I will go for it, try and get the absolute best possible background separation. And I realised while it's been a lot more sunny and whatnot in the UK, it obviously got a bit more difficult to shoot like that. It got darker later in the evening, so I was shooting in the daylight a lot more, and it was just a lot harder to get the sort of desired effect that I wanted. So I began to rethink photography. I realised I wasn't really enjoying it anymore, which is a massive thing considering it's such a massive part of my life. So what I did, I took a step back and I kind of had to go over what photography means to me. So what I did was slow down. I didn't constantly look for those bokeh shots. I stopped caring about how much background separation there was. I stopped using my normal camera gear. I stopped using my EOS R and my lenses, and I picked up, yep, I'm a Fuji guy now. So first I picked up a Fuji X10. It's very small, it's compact, it's light. Everything that I felt like was a hindrance to me shooting, I felt like this rectified almost immediately. It's a variable zoom. It can fit around my neck with no problem rather than clipping it. I didn't have to carry around a massive bag, just this and neck strap. Off I went with a couple of spare batteries. And I also picked up an X100T. Now, just look at this. Just look at that. It's just beautiful. But the looks are besides the point. I mean, it's still a big part of it, but yeah, so with these, it's just transform photography for me. They're both capable of f2, 2.8, but I never shoot at those apertures. I'm always at f4 to f5.6, and the shots I'm taking have changed dramatically. The process of slowing down, I think it's enabled me to kind of fall in love with photography again, because as my good friend Jake at Mr. JK Shoot said, are you doing street photography or are you just taking a photo on the street? Now those two things are a grey area. A lot of people say street photography is just shooting on the street. A lot of people say it's a lot more of a defined art. Now the way I see it, I do believe it is a bit more of a refined art. If you look at a lot of the people who claim they are street photographers, there's always a bit of an added element to their photos that you don't really see anywhere else. It does take practice. So I've been looking at a lot of people. Mike Chudley is a massive inspiration for me. Faisal Westcott, Roman Fox, just a lot of people who shoot in a very different way to what other people would. And through that, I'm trying to improve myself. So whereas once I was taking shots like this, I'm now taking shots like this. And it's just the whole process of noticing things that other people aren't noticing. So rather than looking for bokeh, rather than looking for that background separation, I'm looking for interesting frames, I'm looking for gestures, I'm looking for hats and colours and any sort of links I can make in a photo between multiple subjects. I'm just absolutely living for right now. Hats and gestures, I'm loving the pointings of people in London, people in hats, and I feel like it's just made me fall in love with photography again. I think it's a bit of a change that I needed. Whereas before I was always trying to go out and shoot at night. This has kind of helped me move away from that. And I feel like as a photographer, one of the most important things is you are able to adapt, you're able to show that you're capable of doing different things rather than just shooting at night. Now I will say, obviously these are nowhere near the mechanical capabilities of something like my EOS R. The autofocus isn't as fast, the low light performance isn't as good, but that doesn't mean they're not capable. Like I said, I love these. I just wouldn't, now that I have them, I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of them. and I think I'll always use them, especially when I go traveling. I think another point that I want to make about shooting on something small and compact like the X100T or the X10 or any sort of compact camera is the fact that you can capture those candid moments that you can't when you're using a massive lens. When walking around with my 105, for example, people notice me unclipping that thing, bringing it up, and they see this massive front glass that's just glistening, and they see it walk towards them. It disturbs the moment, I can't get the shot. Whereas with something like this, if I was to lift it up and take a photo, you wouldn't notice. Most people don't notice. That's why I can get those undisturbed moments that you're seeing on the screen right now. Whereas before, I'd always try getting to central London at night and, you know, getting the lights from Oxford Circus and just walking around trying to find the best possible lights. Now I'm actually drawn to the harsh lighting. If you remember a few videos ago I made with Jake, I was saying how we really struggled to shoot in harsh lighting because we were night photographers. But now we kind of live for that harsh lighting. Yeah, just looking for compositions and framing that we never once thought we would have looked for is really refreshing, and it's really opened our eyes to what more photography has to offer. So whereas before I would constantly be walking around quickly with a pace, looking for the best shots to snap that, now I find myself standing still in one area, really taking in the scene and spotting potential subjects for photos I want to take. Now I feel like one of the best places that I found for this are markets. I recently went out with my missus and my sister to Brick Lane Market, and it was just rich with potential shots, a lot of them that are, you know, flashing up on screen now. And it's just these kinds of shots I never ever would have thought to take, and if I would take them, I would leave the aperture on 1.4 and just single out a subject and completely melt away the background. Whereas now, shooting at f4 to 5.6 and above, maybe even f8, I love the fact that the subject and the background add to the photo. I feel like we often get caught up in getting rid of the background and we forget what it can actually offer in terms of the storytelling behind the photo. I'm not saying that I'm completely leaving the Canon system. Absolutely not. I spent way too much money on the system to just completely ditch it. But in terms of just everyday photography, I do think that Fuji will be the way forward for me. And you can expect to see a lot of Fuji content on this channel now. And already on my Instagram, I'm making that transition over into what I consider proper street. I feel like I've become a better photographer. I'm noticing things that I wouldn't have seen before. And that's a massive thing. Being able to observe is a massive thing in photography. And I feel like me being able to do that better makes me a better photographer. I feel like I'm taking better photos now than I did a month or two ago. And I feel as though this process of slowing down and taking it almost back to basics has really refreshed photography for me in a period where I found it was quite difficult to maintain that love. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a bit of a different sort of video. My social on the screen, my Instagram's on the screen, my Vero's on the screen as well. I do want to push that as a social media platform, as Instagram isn't doing the best right now. Look forward to seeing more content from me. I'll surprise you. I'll throw in content from these two. I'm throwing content from this, my EOS R. I've still got new lenses I have no POVs on, so maybe that will be in the midst. The 35 being one of them, the one I'm using now. And yeah guys, as always, I've been your boy in my vision, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.